Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which I find out that all of the wonderful things of childhood are actually evil. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday, Actual Tuesday. This is a bit of a spontaneous broadcast. I usually don't do TEDx's on Tuesdays because I'm also hosting Lords of the Night, and I try to generally maintain a one stream a day kind of deal. But this was posted to the TEDx site just, a little while ago, maybe an hour or so before you're seeing this live, if you're seeing this live. And the title was so out there, as you can see in the top corner there, that I couldn't help myself. Plus the fact that it's only 5 minutes long, and I thought, sure, why not? And so we're going to do this relatively quickly, I assume. Maybe. We'll find out as we go. But before we get there, let's say hello to those of you that have joined me for this spontaneous, sort of spur-of-the-moment event. Jaeger Pony, hello. Check Your Logic, hello. St. Michael, hello. Asian Hippie, hello. TC, hello. Chaos X, hello. Quinn the Cultist, hello. Kip Fox Kip, hello. Let's see, who else? And then the chat jumped because, of course it does. Zach Osborne, hello. You're Ridiculous Lunatic, hello. Chris Pierce, hello. Megan Ring, hello. Shady Grin, hello. Keeverdam, hello. Lycan King, 018, hello. The Gayest Person on YouTube, hello. Michael Caruza, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. Corey Suzuki, thank you so much. You changed your viewport? No, this is actually the original overlay for the show, or for live streams in general. I just haven't used it in a while. So let's see. Lady Gopher, hello. W.R. Costin, hello. The One Ton Hammer, hello. Black Belt for Christ, hello. Marmer 132, hello. Pink Hall the Driving Ape Man, thank you so much. Today is Wednesday, like for sure. Killer Turnus, hello. RLF Home Services, hello. Purple Pill Perspective, hello. Dr. No, hello. Moonshock, hello. Twisted Skipster, hello. Revnedix, hello. Rivenedix. Hello. Havoc Vladimir Vistalinov, hello. Scientology, hello. Matt Barnes, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What a wonderful word. Hello. And that one servant of Satania, hello. Buckaroo by Zoo, hello. All right, guys. So what is today's topic? Apparently, Toy Story is a slave narrative. Ah! Yes. Take everything pure and good in the world and tell us how it is secretly corrupting us. How old is Toy Story now? Like, that came out in what, like 93 or 4 or something? I mean, crikey. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's find out what the secret message is behind Toy Story. I will start off with a few seconds for sound test. Truth be told, given the speed with which I set this up, I didn't actually tweak the audio on this video, which is a rarity for a TEDx. It sounded pretty good when I listened to a little clip. So I think we're okay, but you never know, so we'll find out together. Thank you, Killer Turnus, since I'm probably not going to be back for live here. Well, thank you, Killer. Appreciate it. It'll be here when you're back. It'll be waiting for you. Dr. No says 1995. Yeah, 95. So let's find out how Toy Story has been polluting our minds secretly for the last 15 years.
I'd like to share this idea with you. It's kind of crazy, but I believe that Toy Story is actually a slave narrative. Let me explain.
You're going to have to do a lot of explaining because... Okay. All right. Before we get into it, let me try to extrapolate from my own recollections of the... It has been a long time since I've seen Toy Story, but it's one of those movies that kind of sticks with you. Okay. So the toys, obviously, are the slaves. The slaves to entertaining and spurring on the imagination of the master being, what was his name? Timmy or Joey or Billy or whatever his name was? The kid, who's obviously the slave master and or the representation of white supremacy, white oppression, right? And so everybody in the toy box the toy box, which is actually a plantation, or the bedroom, which is a plantation, that keeps all of the toys, i.e. slaves in, who only exist to service the slave master. Andy. That's right, Andy. Sorry. I knew it was some all-American name. Thank you, John Miller. Up next, 12 Years a Toy Story Slave. All right, that's my guess. I don't think that's too far afield of a guess. Let's find out.
There's 3 ways that Toy Story, the Pixar movie, reflects the experience of African descendants of slaves in this country.
Okay, and by the way, I do have the bingo card out. Forgot to mention that. Get your copy of the bingo card in the description. There are 3 ways, he says. Well, you know, a numbered list of things would be a list. So free space, circling that one, and a list. All right, we will go as we go. We'll do a full review of the card after this is over with, since it's only a few minutes long, and we'll just pick up what is obvious to us as we go for the card.
The first being that we are figments of the imagination of the American culture.
African Americans are figments of imagination of the American culture. Okay.
In the movie Toy Story, the toys participate in the fantasies of their child, Andy.
Okay, now, admittedly, I am not necessarily all up on the lore of Toy Story, but I believe it kind of goes that the toys possess a consciousness and a wherewithal of their own that is tapped into after a fashion by the children's imagination. Not that they are given these things by the child's imagination. And yeah, they participate in the quote-unquote fantasies because they generally acclimate to the form in which they were given, i.e. a cowboy and a space marine or whatever. Okay, I'm reading more into Toy Story than maybe our No, you know what? I'm not.
They are heroes, villains, monsters, and damsels in distress.
Yes, I suppose that they are.
African Americans in this culture take on similar roles. We are
really just reflexively, or are they imbued with these roles by other people? I don't know.
Depicted as heroes. We are depicted as thugs and monsters.
Yes. And you know, there are no white people who are depicted as heroes or thugs or monsters. Hannibal Lecter is obviously, and now my phone is ringing. Sorry guys, live TV. Excuse me for just a moment, and I'll be back in a moment. Apologies, everyone. Had to take that real quick. I lost my train of thought, but that's okay because you haven't. Thank you, Moon-based security. Space Marine, you say? Moon-based security? I didn't call you. I'm perfectly secure where I am. I have Dogcat Fox protecting me. Who are you? Who hired you? Let me actually mute my phone. See, I always forget to mute my phone before the show. I got so excited about this, guys. All right. Anyway, yes, only African Americans are depicted in ways that may be complimentary or derogatory insofar as character roles. Ever. There are no white damsels in distress. There are no white villains. There are no Asian heroes, and on and on. But okay, tell me more.
Our women are over-sexualized damsels, always in distress. But these aren't reflections of who we really are.
Yeah, you're right, because in those instances you're talking about, they're probably playing a character in a movie or a TV show. And I don't know if you've watched, I don't know, television shows in the last, say 10, 15 years or so. There are a lot of different characters portrayed by a lot of different kinds of people, if that is really your focus. I don't know if you've noticed. Maybe you haven't, or maybe you have, but you're just being willfully blind to it. I don't know.
They're really figments of the imagination.
If they're playing fictional characters, you're correct.
It's like Ralph Ellison said.
What?
I am invisible, understand? Simply because people refuse to see me. Like the bodiless heads you see sometimes in circus sideshows. It is as though I have been surrounded by mirrors of hard, distorting glass. When they approach me, they see only my surroundings, themselves, or figments of their imagination. Indeed, everything and anything except me.
I kind of recognize the name associated with the title, but I don't know the context of that quote. And is that a fiction story? Is it an autobiography? I don't know. And either way, it's anecdotal at best. Okay.
Which brings me to my second point.
Okay.
We conceal our true selves.
You're really big on this Invisible Man book, but okay. We conceal our true selves. So first, the first point was African Americans are figments of the American imagination. Now, number two, we, and I'm assuming we means African Americans again, we conceal our true selves. That sounds like a personal decision, or are you going to tell me otherwise?
In the movie Toy Story,
yes,
when Andy is done playing with his toys
yes,
and leaves them laying on the ground, he believes that they're lifeless things.
Well, I mean, sort of. In the child's imagination, they have things. Did you ever hear Andy interact with the toys? He called them by their names. He missed them when they weren't around. He had a sentimental attachment to them when he had to leave for college and all that stuff. I mean, he gives them a life of their own, but he also lives with one foot in the real world, more so as he grows up. That's kind of one of the lessons of the series, is sort of like growing out of childhood fantasy and the cyclical nature of handing down dreams and imagination and creativity and such as you move on through life. I'm analyzing a movie series I have not watched or thought about in years, but okay.
Unanimated beings, when in reality, they're alive.
In the reality of the movie, yes, they're alive. They're also alive when Andy's playing with them. He just doesn't perceive that the same way as they do. Okay, anyway.
The T-Rex isn't a monster at all.
The T-Rex was never... Look at that. That is the unscariest T-Rex ever. And it's actually a joke. He's trying to be all like, rawr all the time. But it's a cartoon version of a T-Rex in toy form. He's not scary. He's not a monster. He's got the voice of inconceivable. You know, he
suffers from anxiety.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are a real married couple.
They are anthropomorphized toys. Fictional characters in a digital movie. Played up for comedy and effect and fun. And your point is?
And Bo Peep is not a damsel in distress. In fact, by the time you get to Toy Story 4, she's a freedom fighter.
Wow. Yeah, they definitely changed her character. What's your point? I thought it was a slave narrative. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people and scribbles. Hello, Kyle. So you're putting Bo Peep on the same plane as Harriet Tubman. Okay.
a lot like Harriet Tubman,
Yeah.
liberating toys from the servitude of children.
Uh-huh.
She chose to live freely outside of the imagination of boys and girls.
No, she was written that way by writers and creative teams. Bo Peep is a character. Bo Peep is a slave to those who imagine her and what she does and says. The actress portraying her is reading a script. The people animating her are following storyboards done by others, the director, the creative team, and so on. It's not a real... You understand these are not real people, right? They're only doing what they're told to do because they're fake, fictional characters. Thank you, Michael Caruza. Is this guy saying black people enjoyed slavery? I don't know what he's saying so far. I mean, like I said at the beginning, you could draw a very, very, very cursory connection between the idea of these toys being sort of in captivity, effectively only there to service the fun of Andy. Outside of that, though, we see that they have their own personalities, they have their own motivations, they take their own actions without the knowledge and or consent of Andy over and over and over again throughout the course of the stories. And it's not a... I mean, Andy's not torturing them. That's the other kid. That's the Spike kid or Butch or whatever that kid is that was taking apart the toys. He's the bad guy. Oh, well, Scribe, Andy is just the good master, right? Oh, I could do this myself without the TEDx, couldn't I?
She comes to the same conclusion Ralph Ellison does.
Oh.
That we discover who we are, we become free.
I guess this Invisible Man book, I've heard of the book. I don't remember what it's about. I guess this is just the Bible, or this is the reading companion to Toy Story that I never knew existed.
My third and final point.
Oh.
When we experience overt oppression, we don't reveal our true selves. We reveal our worst selves.
Okay, so point number one is African Americans are invisible to American society. Point number two is you don't reveal your true self, I guess. And three, we reveal our worst selves when under extreme oppression. Okay. And this is, okay, and these things are unique specifically to black people? Thank you again, Michael Caruza. Seriously, what people went on an adventure back into slavery? Well, I guess you could say that is their Stockholm syndrome. They've been broken by their master and know only one kind of life, and so don't seek freedom because this is all they know, or something. I'm sure you can come up with some psychological analogy for all of it. And I just did, kind of, but okay.
Our most violent selves.
Uh-huh.
In the movie Toy Story, there's only one time the toys reveal themselves. That's when they reveal themselves to Andy's next door neighbor, Sid.
Sid, not Butch.
Now, Sid is this vicious, evil child that mutilates toys, blows them up with fireworks, dismembers them, and puts them back together in these crazy ways. Okay, so by that same logic, then, Andy's not imbuing them with their life. They possess a life of their own. They are sentient. They have their own personalities. And they're choosing to be with Andy, who loves them and who they love. Of course, I'm sure that love is somehow tainted or evil or false. And under this oppression, the toys decide to reveal themselves, much to the horror of Sid. You're putting a picture of Sid from Toy Story next to George Floyd
and I forget the officer's name all of a sudden, being choked out on the street. That is your comparison. Okay.
But even this revelation is a performance. It's a disguise. They come out as zombies, raising from the mud. Woody turns his head around as if he's some type of possessed demon.
They made a conscious choice to scare the child. It was a strategy they came up with. They fought a bully with fear of their own. They took a power of their own that they did not otherwise possess as mere toys in order to defeat evil. That's a bad thing?
African Americans respond to overt oppression in similar ways.
You become zombies and turn your heads around 360 degrees?
Consider slave revolts of Nat Turner.
What?
And Toussaint Louverture.
They weren't revolting against their slave master. They were fighting a bully who was torturing toys. They went back to Andy and chose to be with Andy because Andy was good to them and their friend. Okay, either Toy Story is a consistent slave narrative or it isn't. And you're not making it consistent.
Or modern day acts of civil unrest.
Please do not tell me you're going to make apologetics for quote unquote acts of civil unrest, unless you get very specific by what you mean by acts of civil unrest. Because if you're talking about the civil unrest we've been seeing in the last several months, the fires, the destruction, the looting, the murders, and so on and so forth, no. You are not, in the modern day, under a Nat Turner situation. No.
But these are all just performances.
No. Really? People's businesses being destroyed, lives being lost, those are just performances. Oh, okay. Civil unrest is just a performance. Oh.
These do not reveal who we truly are.
Doesn't it? If you do something with a mask on that you think you can get away with, is that not an example of who you really are when no one's looking?
Dr. Martin Luther King.
But that's the picture you pick? Okay, I mean, I might have been going a little far afield in assuming what civil unrest meant. But you put a picture up of a liquor store on fire. Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit because he started giving us I mean, and by the way, just while I have this on the screen, can you think of a more dissonant example of images here? A quote by Dr. Martin Luther King in front of a blaze liquor store, someone's business. It doesn't even look like a chain. It looks like somebody's private business. And someone running forward with the American flag upside down in distress. Okay.
Dr. Martin Luther King says, the riot is the language of the unheard.
Is that an endorsement of riots? Is that the sentiment that Dr. Martin Luther King promoted? Is that an apologetic for wanton destruction and harm and death? That's what it sounds like you're doing here. On the back of a family film about talking toys.
And in this case, it is the language of the unseen. Ralph Ellison goes on to say, no, I am not a spook like those who haunted Edgar Allan Poe, nor am I one of your Hollywood movie ectoplasms. I am a man of substance, of flesh and bone, fiber and liquids. And I might even be said to possess a mind. I am invisible simply because people refuse to see me.
whatever your personal issues are with how you're treated in life or otherwise, that does not justify burning down somebody's business. That does not justify beating somebody up. That does not justify property damage. That doesn't justify attacking police officers or doing anything to harm anyone else or their livelihoods or so on. I'm sorry. No matter how bad you feel that you've been treated, you don't solve it by then turning that harm you feel onto someone who has nothing to do with it. And in the images that you're showing here, you're giving apologetics, you're giving cover to crime, not protest, not civil unrest, to crime, to destruction. That's it. And you chose these pictures. This is your talk. So on the back of a family film about talking toys, you're attempting to give cover to rioters. All right. Thank you, John Miller. Have your toys be heard. Toys rise up. I guess so.
In closing, I offer this bit of homework to, of course, pick up a copy of Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man.
Buy my book. Buy my book.
And if you ever get a chance, find a copy of the 80s movie, The Toy.
The 80s movie, The Toy. Okay, now if you wanted to do a slave narrative kind of analogy thing, that might have been a better choice. Why didn't you do that?
Starring Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
In this movie, Richard Pryor plays an out-of-work newspaper reporter.
Yep.
Who is literally purchased to be the toy of a millionaire's spoiled son.
That's where this ends? Okay, if you had brought up The Toy as a slave narrative, well, first and foremost, it wouldn't be that difficult of an argument to make, all things considered. And you might have had more to say about how things have changed since that film was made, and how that film would never be made today. But I suppose, I don't know, pointing out any kind of societal progress in such a way would go against your narrative. But that's where your talk ends, 5 minutes, 24 seconds in. Okay. All right, guys. Well, boy, I'm sure sold on Toy Story being a slave narrative. Aren't you? Wowzers. Okay, let's go to the bingo card. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. Trying to imbue Toy Story with race, racism, etc. Yeah, I'm circling that one. Marginalize marginalization. I don't think you ever said the words. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mind reading assumes motives. Yeah, all of America just ignores, does not see, vilifies, and so on, black people on reflex. Yeah, sure we do. Plays victim. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, plays victim. Equity. I don't think you ever said the word. Word salad. The disjointed way he moved from quotes from that book to weird examples from Toy Story. Yeah, that's word salad. Self-vilification or wretchedness. I mean, he categorized the behavior of African Americans as their worst selves under oppression, and then talked about civil unrest, but then tried to justify it with a Martin Luther King. I'm not sure. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I think Toy Story is a slave narrative, is a fine buzz phrase for this circumstance. Feminism, no. Childhood or family anecdote. He never talked about himself. Benevolent condescension. Yeah, all black people are immediately victims and so on and so forth, and they're just toys and whatever. Systemic institutional. No. I mean, you talked about society. I'm not sure. Patriarchy, no. Contradicts own point or argument. I'm trying to think now. It was a very brief thing. Well, I mean, by bringing up the Richard Pryor film at the end, which would have made a much more effective example of a slave narrative than Toy Story, I kind of feel like that kind of contradicts it, because you got a much better example than the just disconnected version of Toy Story. Yeah, I'm going to circle that one. Toxic, no. Privilege, no. Weightless example. Toy Story is a weightless example for his argument. By itself, Toy Story. Leaves out vital context. I mean, I don't know. Is trying to use Toy Story ineffectively towards his argument, leaving out vital context? I might be reaching there. I don't know. Let me think about it. Microaggressions, conscious bias. There is the implication of unconscious bias when he's talking about how people just don't see black people. Yeah, I'm going to circle that one. That's in aggregate, that's kind of what we're talking about there. That American society immediately ignores, or does not pay attention to. Takes credit for something done and experienced by others in their demographic. I mean, he was extrapolating the slave revolts of Nat Turner to the riots of 2020. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It just doesn't wash. White supremacy, he never said it. Well, I mean, he's talking about slavery. Yeah, in comparison, yeah, he's talking about white supremacy, at least in context. Wage gap. He never talked about a wage gap. Anecdote that probably never happened. He never gave us an anecdote. Holy cow, guys. I don't think we have a bingo. I mean, I'll take arguments otherwise, but let me display the bingo card as I have it. I don't know if it's going to be cut off by the frame there. Nope, it isn't. Okay, so that's what I have so far, guys. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go to the chat now. If you guys have arguments for squares I haven't circled, let me know. But let's see. Assassin the Grey, Scribelight. It is clear this presenter did not write the material. He is a puppet on a string for his handlers. I don't know. I have no idea. Mr. Dax, good evening, Scribelight in chat. Hello, Dax. Annalyn, is there a context to this? The title tells you everything I know about it from the beginning, and everything you heard is everything we've got. That's it. Vera Vashmai contradicts his own argument. He was basing his argument on a story which in no way was in any of the Toy Story movies. Yeah, I mean, weightless example and contradicts his own point. Since his entire point was centered around the Toy Story movie, it's both a weightless example and he doesn't even prove it. Thank you, Blind Press. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Blind Press. I saw your super chat. I want everybody to know, Frosted Glass, I saw the super chat. Kiefer Dam, I saw the super chat. Don't need to be raked over the coals. I saw it this time. Let's see. Moonshock, he didn't take long enough for a bingo. Well, he didn't take long enough for a bingo, but I mean, just by the number of squares I've been able to circle, if the shuffle had been different, we'd have a bingo or two by now. Zach Osborne, Scribelight, didn't he cherry pick that sentence from MLK, leaving out the surrounding context? Oh, that is a very good point. Very good. Thank you, Zach. That's a good observation. I will update that right there. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. And Satania said the same thing. Thank you. Frosted Glass, if he were creative, he'd title the talk To Equality and Beyond. Ooh, there you go. Kit Fox Kit, the part where Woody says that there's a snake in his boot refers to how the Uncle Tom destroy us from within. Oh, very good. Let's see. Vera Vashmanai, the entire basis of the argument was based on complete lies about the movies. Just circle the whole damn card. No. This, until I come across something as insanely nonsensical as Chromosome Lady, I'm not going to circle the entire card. That's like a once in a blue moon event. And while this guy didn't make any sense at all, it wasn't Chromosome Lady level. Let's see. Moonshock, just call the free space idiot. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. Dr. No, was he high? I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, guys. Well, I can't get wage gap out of this. He didn't give us any anecdotes. And he didn't use anything. He didn't use the word toxic. I mean, sure, I could be very generous and say that, the totality of what he was saying was saying the toxic nature of whatever. But I mean, he didn't even say that here's the thing that didn't happen that I was surprised by. He didn't even say or imply that Toy Story is giving us that message or somehow making the idea of slavery palatable. He was just saying how it was, in a very abstract fashion, similar-ish to. So he didn't even prove his point. Didn't even come close. Or even make an argument, really. You could remove Toy Story from that entire thing and have him just use examples or quotes from that book he was talking about and still give us his list. And it would have had the same amount of content, effectively. Let's see. Was the claw God? Yes, Keeverdam, the claw was God. Let's see. Toxic toy culture. Yeah, not really. I mean, let's see. Assassin the Grey. Help Scribe and Dogcat Fox the Wonder Critter fight the stupid from Moonbase 1. Please supply Moonbase 1 with Pepperjack, Moon Treats, and a thumbs up. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. I mean, this is supposed to be just an off-the-cuff sort of TEDx because the thing was posted, the title was so bizarre, and it was only 5 minutes long. I'm actually really surprised that justifiably we got as many squares circled as we did. Didn't hit a bingo, only because of the shuffle, not for want of quantity. But yeah, there you go, guys. The argument that Toy Story is a slave narrative utterly failed, in my opinion. But you don't have to take my word for it. I should really get the Reading Rainbow sound effect for use. And I can sort of have a soundboard now because I can play tiny little video clips as overlays. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, guys, that is a topic for another time. I'm done for now. But if you'd like to hear more from me or Satsu 2 Cents or the Ranting Monkey, you can find all three of us tonight on my channel right here at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for The Lords of the Night, where we will talk about the news of the day, news stories you submit, what we've been up to on the internet, and then your comments and questions. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this impromptu TEDXcellence. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Or if nothing else, I hope you found it inanely entertaining. Thank you all for your attendance. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your generosity. Please have a good rest of your Tuesday. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.